Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to create a new file. And I'm going to call this profit calculator. Let's do a new program, a quick example of assigning variables. Okay, and so I'm going to create a comment that says assign values. I'm going to create the products variable and assign 100 to that. Price equals 25. Revenue equals products times price. Let's say that I want to display revenue in a readable format. And here I want to print both the text total revenue and the value stored in revenue. So the way I do that is I am going to separate them using a comma. Let me show you what I mean. Inside the print statement, I have my string total revenue, and then I have this comma separating this variable revenue. Comma separates values. It also lets you mix different data types inside the print statements. Like in this example, we have total revenue that is a string, which is text, and revenue, which is actually a number. It's a variable, but it represents a number. All right, the next thing. So let's say that we want to update the price. We would need to assign 30 to price again, and then we wanted to recalculate the revenue. So to recalculate the revenue, price now with this new updated price is after revenue in our code. So to get the new value of price in revenue, we would then need to recalculate revenue. Products times price. And if I print new revenue, and I'm going to hit Control R, and so we can see total revenue, $2,500. So that is the original revenue with the first product times price, but now we then updated our price and we get this new print statement, new revenue, 3,000. So instead of manually recalculating revenue, you just updated the price and Python does the math for you. And so variables store the latest value and updates automatically when you use them in new calculations. So now that we've just done some variables, let's begin to start talking about some interesting ways to format our printing that makes things a lot cleaner and easier to work with. So I'm going to just copy and paste some code in here to save you from seeing me write like crazy. Okay, let's create a new file. I'm going to call this print formatting. Okay, so the value, the string star, I'm assigning it to name, and I'm assigning 1,000 to savings. So you can see inside of this print statement, to be able to print all of this out and to use these variables, I have one string and then the variable, and then another string, and then a variable, and then another string, all separated by commas. So it's not that convenient. So this works, but there is a better way. And that's by using something called an F string. So watch this. Print, and then I use this number F, followed by a string. Hello, name, you have saved savings dollars. And if I print, you can see that I have two print statements, and they basically say the same thing. There's something a little bit different in terms of some punctuation, but basically this is the same thing. All right, so let's break this down what's going on. In this print statement, we have this F. This F is before the quotes, and this tells Python this is a special formatted string. And we have the curly braces. It's essentially like windows that show our variable values. So Python replaces each curly brace with whatever is inside of the variable. All right, so we're calculating pay. Hours, 40 hours, the rate 15. Pay equals hours times rate. And so here's the old way with commas. You see that we have these string, we have the variables. It's just like a lot in here. And then we say you earned this. Now, a cleaner way to do that using the F strings is all we need to do is just use that F and then basically just write out our sentence, but instead use curly braces with our variables, and it's so much easier for formatting. So let's look at the difference. Both of them say the exact same thing, working 40 hours at $15 per hour. And you actually see there's actually like a little problem with the way that I formatted this. It's so easy to have mistakes when you're formatting it in this way. And the reason why is automatically a comma adds spaces. So in this instance right here, there's a space between this money sign and that value at rate. As you can see, money sign, value at rate. But now if we look at the cleaner way, which using these F strings, we actually don't have that problem. Let's see, working 40 hours at 15 per hour. So we just covered a lot in this lesson. All right, we started by looking at why manually updating numbers in a program isn't efficient. Then we introduced variables, which let Python store and remember information so we can use it later. We talked about how Python stores variables in memory and updates values when needed. We also covered how Python reads assignments, always evaluating the right side first before storing the result on the left. We talked about comments. We went over rules for naming variables and making sure that they're clear, readable, and don't break Python rules. Then we applied variables to real-world examples like calculating income, expenses, and business revenue, showing how updates become much easier. And then last but not least, we looked at a cleaner way to format our output using F strings. And so that just makes our print statements easier to read and more dynamic. So by now, you should feel more comfortable using variables to store and update information. And you've seen how they make coding more efficient. And in the next lesson, we're going to build upon this and take things even further. But make sure to do the quiz just to make sure that you understand. I know I did a lot of copying and pasting code, which can be pretty annoying, but there is a trade-off right here. I just type I'm a slow typer. It's not a good look, but that's where I'm currently at this point in my life. I will change that, but yeah, there's a trade-off. Me, typing so slowly for you or just pasting the code in. So if you wanted to type along, go ahead and just pause this. All right, do the quiz, check out the solutions. I'll see you in the next video.